Eric Pausini with 9 to 5 Sports. Going to be getting into the fades here for NFL DFS Week 1. Now, I do want to start this off with saying that, a lot of you guys probably won't agree with some of these fades, and if you do, that's all right. You can always put in the comment section kind of why you disagree. In a civil way. We're all trying to help each other out here. But for me, I'm going to be fading these guys mostly just due to price point, and also there's just as good or even better plays at the same price point as these guys. And honestly, some of these guys just simply need to prove themselves this year. And a lot of it also is predicated on the fact that I like some other lineup pass to the point where we don't really have to play some of these guys that I'm going to mention. So, everyone has their logical reasons as to why they should fade someone or play someone. And that's kind of the beauty of NFL DFS. Personally, for me, I like to go with a more safe approach, especially in my cash and main builds. And that's what you guys are going to see echoed during this video. So let's get into the first fade. Obviously, you guys can tell it's going to be Antonio Gibson. Now, Antonio Gibson, this is mostly just due to a ownership fade. Okay, Antonio Gibson is projected to be pretty much the highest owned running back on this slate, which to me, I don't really get. I get the fact that he is going to be used a lot. He's going to have a lot of usage this year as a whole. And I get the fact that people are excited for that. A lot of the reports coming out of camp were that he's going to be in that Christian McCaffrey role like Ron Rivera had in previous years in Carolina. I get that completely. Okay, and I still have him to get, 2.5x return on value. That is great as well, but for a guy that's projected to get 22% ownership, that's a little bit crazy to me. And in a matchup that it's not really a plus or a minus, it's just kind of even keel going against the Chargers. They gave up the 19th most running back points last year. That's okay, whatever. That's neither here nor there. But Antonio Gibson, you got Ryan Fitzpatrick in there, who we know he typically likes to push the ball downfield a little bit more. I don't really expect this game to be quite a shootout. It did look like teams somewhat figured out the Washington football team a little bit last year. And for me, I don't want to play him when I can play someone like Raheem Mostert at 6% ownership that has just as much upside in a much better matchup. Mostert could easily break the slate, and it wouldn't shock anyone at all. Antonio Gibson is more or less, people are playing him because he's a safe play. And then we also got Chris Carson in a pretty similar matchup going against the Colts. Now, I know the Colts should be good on defense, but, he's probably going to get around the same workload. And to me, that's going to be exciting for Chris Carson. And then going up, we got James Robinson for like $500 more, easily kind of like the lock play of the week. And he's not projected to get too much ownership just yet. That number is definitely going to bump up as the week goes on. But James Robinson, a much safer player and a much easier play, a little bit more expensive given the matchup. He's a play that I'd much rather go with. And kind of echoing that as well, we got Joe Mixon here at the same price point. I mentioned in kind of the sleepers video that I think Chris Evans is going to be a guy that season long wise might eventually become a guy that we're talking about. Okay, I don't love Joe Mixon as a whole. I don't want to say he's a solid NFL running back, but he's good enough right now for the Bengals. But Chris Evans is going to be kind of the passing down back, is what it seems like based off of camp. They love him. They love his routes that he runs and whatnot. But Joe Mixon at this price point, I get it, going against the Vikings. That's kind of a decent matchup. I can't do it. I'd much rather play James Robinson. I'd much rather go with a lower owned Raheem Mostert, or for the most part, we can easily just go with like the top end guys, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and be pretty good with it. And that being said, that leads me to my next fade, which hurts me as well. Like, I love me some Austin Eckler, and I love me some Antonio Gibson. Sometimes you have to fade the players that you like. And Austin Eckler, probably my favorite running back. And honestly, I kind of get why he's getting talked up. 12% ownership. That's going to go down because he has some sort of hamstring injury. People have to do that wait and see approach to see if he's actually going to play and whatnot. So I do expect this number to drop, but at his current price of $7K, you go with equally of safe play Nick Chubb. You could pay down for James Robinson. And this is not a horrible, terrible and horrible. I mixed that up. I combined that word, but it's kind of a terrible matchup. 29th most DK points given up for Washington, so only 3 teams were better against the run than the Washington football team. I like Austin Eckler. He has a safe floor and whatnot. I just can't play him this week. He's kind of just a worry of mine. And then I will say as well, guys, for the most part, I'm just going to be fading the rookie quarterbacks right now. It's a wait-and-see approach. We don't have to play them. There's plenty of other good quality quarterback plays at those same price points as those quarterbacks that are rookies. Just no need to force it this week. And that being said, I don't really love Kyle Pitts this week. Kyle Pitts, to me, as a rookie tight end, is not something that I want to go out of my way to play. I would rather play someone like Robert Tonyan, who's priced a little bit cheaper, projected at 11 DK points. You got Austin Hooper, who really came on at the end of the year last year. I'd much rather play him at a cheaper price point, especially at a lower cost as well. Heck, you could even go with Hayden Hurst on the same team for a little bit cheaper. Now, I am doing the wait-and-see approach on Kyle Pitts. I do think he'll eventually be a stud, but we never really want to trust rookie tight ends. Yes, some of them have went off. We saw that TJ Hawkinson game like 3 years ago where he went off for like 20 DK points and then wasn't heard of for the rest of the year. That could happen with Kyle Pitts. I'm kind of worried about him as a play as a whole. And I do want to mention one more as well here. It's going to be kind of a team issue here for me. I'm actually going to be fading Josh Allen going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is mostly just due to matchup. Steelers are a great team defensively. Last year, quarterbacks saw their average DK points scored go down by 2% or 2 points total, 2.3 points total. So, yes, Josh Allen probably will get like 18 DK points this one. I'm good with that. That's fine. And this game could potentially become a shootout. I don't love him at this price point. I'd much rather go with Kyler Murray, who's going to be a little bit safer at a little bit more expensive, or you can just pay down, kind of do the safe thing on this week. There's plenty of great quality, cheaper options like Matt Ryan, Jimmy G, Sam Darnold, instead of having to pay up for a quarterback. Heck, you can even just go with Patrick Mahomes, who we know is going to be safe and consistent. Obviously, he's priced up a little bit more. And then that being said, if I'm fading Josh Allen, then obviously I don't really want to play Diggs as well. Although I love these guys for a season long, they're just not players that I want to force into my builds in week 1 of the NFL DFS season. But that's all I have for you guys for the fades video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. If you guys want to join 9 to 5 Nation, the link is in the description below. $10 a month gets you access to the lineup optimizer, this cheat sheet, and then it also gives you access to the weekly write-up. Very in-depth write-up, always kind of on point with what you guys should be doing for the week. All right, that's all I have for you guys. And as always, let's keep cashing.